All right, guys, I have to admit I'm a little nervous because I'm gonna get to drive Laguna Seca, and I've driven it dozens of times with different cars in Gran Turismo, but this is real. Mazda race cars, Skip Barber, and the real racetrack. And of course, the Corkscrew is what is making me the most nervous because there is a lot of elevation change there. And doing it in a game versus doing it in a real car, that is going to be interesting. And that is coming up next on the Fast Lane Car.
So, what we have here is an MX-5 Cup race car in Skip Barber spec. What does that mean? It means we are it's kind of second-class citizens almost compared to the Pro Playboy Series cars. We're just a little bit down here, but the nice thing is our cars are very close in performance and significantly cheaper to buy and run, which means for our racing clients and school clients, it's cheaper to jump in than something that has a blueprinted $20,000 motor, which being a spec series gives you what, like 5 horsepower? Yeah. I don't know. Let's get you familiar with them. The nice thing about them is these are mostly stock. There's very few changes needed to be made to an MX-5 car to make it an MX-5 Cup car because you're starting off with a pretty good car. Stock engine. It has an intake and I believe an ECU flash to take care of that. Motor makes probably about 180 horsepower over the 170 stock. Car weighs, I think, about 2,400 pounds, something like that. They go all right. Acceleration is pretty good. It's not what the car is about. The car is about the total package, but they go pretty good, and that's nice. Transmission, stock. Differential, stock with a limited slip out of the Mazda Speed catalog. Suspension, everything's in its stock location. Springs and shocks, that's it. Sway bars as well, and that's nothing special. You'll notice that we have BFG G4 Sports on there. And you're wondering, why are there street tires on my race car? Well, because it's more fun that way. Kind of that Kensei engineering they were talking about in the presentation. Well, there's actually a point to that. And sometimes in our race series, we'll put these things on BF Goodrich R1s, which are a full race tire that are amazing. And what happens is with a fairly lightweight car with 180 horsepower, you end up with a race car that's got more grip than it has go, and is what we call from the karting world. Overstuck. I told you he talks every once in a while. Jumped the gun a little bit. I was getting ready, but yes, overstuck. And that's not quite as fun to drive, and also is not quite as good a learning tool. These G-Forces are awesome tires. They give good grip. They're very, very predictable. They slide and they let you know. So that's a great tool for us. You put these things on the R1s, and we ask you to try and get trail brake rotation in turn 2, and it's just like, and it just goes. Like, it's not going to slide unless you do something crazy. On these cars, we'll get a nice little slip angle. So that's why we use those. Brakes are stock. All we do is put Hawk blue pads in them. And they've got great initial bite, good torque, and they're actually nice to modulate. The braking system is otherwise completely stock. The only other modifications that are made are sweet looking stickers and safety equipment. We have this cage, and this cage is here for 2 reasons. One, to keep the good green earth off your head if you decide to go inverted. Did you guys ever see Top Gun? Because I was inverted. Yeah. You don't want to do that here. Even though these things, I've seen one fall from considerable height out in turn 9. Actually, it was almost in turn 10 by the time that happened. Anyways, that's what happened when you don't lock up. But yeah, I mean, came from probably about 15 feet in the air, and this cage does a good job. We weren't able to reuse that car, but the cage did a good job. Guy got right out. But the other thing that it does is it assists you through the most dangerous 2 processes we will have you do here at Skip Barber. Do we have any idea what those 2 things are? You are darn skippy. Getting in is the second most dangerous thing you will do today, and getting out, living on the edge. That is where we injure more Skip Barber students than anything else. The single activity of getting out of the car is like juggling handguns. So, the cage is your buddy. The cage is going to help you. So, despite the fact that the Dukes of Hazzard never opened the doors, and that looked cool.
Because they were welded shut.
Because they had to be, because they launched the thing off the face of the earth and then landed nose first and snapped the frame in half.
Cooter only had so many resources.
Why did he have to weld the doors shut?
Because it's Cooter.
That was one of his resources.
Isn't it easier to get a new latch than it is to get a welder?
But in Hazard County, they didn't have latches.
Hazard
They had
County.
welders.
Well, we're up in Smoke County here where people know how to drive.
Can't believe I'm driving Laguna Seca in a race car. All right, it's a Mazda spec car, but nevertheless a race car. They hit this turn, doing the corkscrew, can't see where I'm going. Oh, you feel it in your stomach there. It's like a roller coaster. Come around. With this apex. Back to the straightaway. Just got in fourth gear. I'm not even changing gears. There's really no need to do that here.
No big burly English dude who plugs something into the gearbox. It's just like a normal car. The gauges are stock. They do work. It would be nice if occasionally you looked at maybe the temperature or the oil pressure. Not really necessary because let's say our failures tend to be user generated. You guys ever heard of the good old 4-3 upshift?
Or the
Yeah.
5.2.
What's that?
Or the 5.2.
The 5.2, we've had one. These things will rev to about 11,000 once.
I can't believe it! I'm actually at Laguna Seca, about to take the corkscrew! How cool is that? You guys are the best for watching. I just hope that this video gives you a little chance to see what it's actually like to drive this thing, because getting on this track is not easy. And I'm very, very lucky to be able to do it. So here comes the corkscrew! Really scary. You come into this thing completely blind, make a really hard turn, cut the corner, and then, man, the earth just drops away from you, and I almost lost it there. Oh my God. I'm talking and not paying attention, the back end came out on me. But listen there. Yep. You will want up and just drive. Not a good enough driver to be talking and driving. Especially when we start to build up speed, but my gosh, is this fun! Alright guys, so unlike the video game, when you're actually driving the track here in anger, it's a lot scarier, because as much as the video game gets the engine note right, the corners right, the one part it doesn't get right is the elevation change. And when you come over that corkscrew and your stomach drops and you can't see anything below you, you just hold on and hope and pray that you're not going to spin, because one of the guys behind me spun when I was out there and it did not look pretty. All right, it doesn't look all that fast now, but out there it feels a lot faster. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Thanks for watching, because you guys watch, I get to do crazy stuff like this. Thank you very much. Check out tflcar.com for news, views, and of course, real world reviews. Ciao.
Put it right there. Don't do for some reason what a lot of students like to do and put like that. That is,
Lame.
I feel like I'm using the word stupid too much, but it's stupid. And you guys are smart, so let's go ahead and just do that.
You're a journalist, that doesn't apply.
You're a journalist, that means you got further in college than I did. So, you can move this.
You don't know journalists.
You can move. Actually, I did have the distinct pleasure of getting hired by Sport Compact Car 2 weeks before they shut down.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I was gonna
like
chronicle
half
my
these
racing
guys.
season. I wrote the first article and had nowhere to send it. So.
All of our publications are within 2 weeks of shutting down.
I love it.
Speak for yourself.
Gotcha.
All right,
So-
3 weeks.
So getting out of the car, please do pay attention. This might be the last thing I ever do. This is so dangerous. We kind of make the joke, but seriously, with the helmet on, you can't really see anything out here, and you can't see anything below your nose because of your chin bar, and you are going to be jacked up on adrenaline to the nines. So go ahead and grab that halo bar, and you're gonna go ahead, hoist your butt up out of the seat, sit down on the cage, right? Take a second, a little bit of introspection, think about what you just did, think about where you want to be in 5 years, think about, is your teenage self, if you met you today, would you be happy with your life decisions? Think about that. It's important to reflect. Once you're done reflecting on your life decisions and directions, you're going to go ahead, 1 foot out, find the good green earth, right? Stand up, still holding on. Other foot out. All right, still holding on. Okay. Am I going to fall and break my wrist and miss the rest of the day? No? Let go of the cage. All right? It seems stupid, but we have had people, first session, they get out, the first session's the slow one. They get out, they fall down, they sprain their wrist, they break their hand, whatever, and then you get to go to the hospital, which smells like ammonia and sickness. You don't get to drive. So don't do that, all right? Do we have any questions?